Okay, so that is now recording. Hello to everyone that's watching the recording, and I will go back to the PowerPoint. So hopefully you can see the PowerPoint again. Oh, actually, F5 that. That's not working. There we go. So that's how that's going to work. Okay, over to you, Mrs. Doherty. Oh,
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Apologies, Mr. Hang on.
Hello.
There we go.
Okay.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Hopefully they can. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Mrs. Doherty. I'm the head teacher here. I've been the head teacher for 15 years at this school, so yeah, it's very, very special in my heart. I'm really pleased that you've chosen to join us for this first important step in your child's educational journey. The first thing I'd like to do, though, is just introduce you to a couple of key members of staff who you might come into contact with. So the first person is Mrs. Colclough, so I'm hoping she's online and we'll say a quick hello and wave.
Hiya. Hello.
Cool.
Welcome.
And also I'm hoping that Miss Hughes, our assistant head teacher and inclusion manager, is there as well for you. Is Miss Hughes going to say hello? No? Best laid plans, hey ho. Okay, well obviously you've already started to see Mr. Denham. He's my early years lead and one of the teachers within early years, and also Mrs. Vaughan there is another one of our early years teachers. Also part of this early years team, we've got Mr. Davis and Miss Woods as well, and we've got some very important teaching assistants in there as well, of Mrs. Gannon, Mrs. Ash and Miss Davis. So those are probably the main people that you'll come into contact with on a day-to-day basis. There are a couple of other members that would be nice for you to say hello to, and that would be Mrs. Cole and Mrs. Russell, who are our admin team. So Mrs. Cole, are you there? No?
She was just a minute ago. There's Mr. Davis. Miss Davis, just say hello to us. Hello, you okay? I'm here with my lovely bubble.
And there's Miss Hughes.
And is Miss Woods there?
And Mrs. Hughes has just popped up, miss.
Oh, right.
Hiya, yeah. You muted me, Mr. Denham.
I do apologise, I was muting everybody.
Oh well, it's all technology. We're getting to grips with it.
Yeah.
No, Mrs. Cole. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll get to see her at some point very, very soon. And I dare say you've spoken to her at length on the telephone. Obviously, life at the moment in Rivacre Valley is a little bit different, all down to the pandemic that we're going through. But we are really planning in detail now, ready for September. And we are looking forward to welcoming your children to our reception class. We are planning for all children to return, but not quite sure yet on how that will absolutely look, because there are some changing requirements on social distances, I'm sure you're all aware. But as soon as that's announced, we will start to put our plans out there to you, so that you can start to prepare with your child. Just keep looking at our website, keep looking at any new announcements that we put up there. And then if there's anything that's specific to a particular child, we may email or text you directly. So if you haven't already sent your forms in, please make sure that you send them in with up-to-date telephone numbers, email addresses, so that we can make sure that you're as fully informed as possible. We have also begun our annual transition work, so I'm hoping that you might already have received your first weekly parcel from school with some transition activities to complete. That will carry on now until the end of of this academic term. And as we are also hoping, fingers crossed, that we can start introducing our children to the actual teacher that they'll be having in September from the 6th of July. Again, it's all a little bit prone to change at the moment, but we're hoping to have at least a couple of weeks where the children can get to see who their class teacher is going to be, meet some of the other children that are going to be their friends within the classroom, so that they start to know that as a safe and exciting place to be coming to in September. I'm going to shut up now because I've gone on for too long. So Mr. Down's going to talk you through what September will look like in a little bit more detail. It'll give you a flavour of the early years, the daily routine, what the room's going to look like, those sorts of things, so that we can then start to prepare your child for this next step. We do appreciate it's an exciting time, but also a little bit scary for some of you mums and dads. But do please be reassured that we're here working with you, and hopefully by the end of today, most of your questions or anxieties should be calmed and answered. That's our plan. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miss.
Thank you.
So, I just want to start really with a massive disclaimer. As Miss Doherty said, we put plans in place for September, but until we've received the guidance from the local authority and the government, we can't confirm on those plans until we have that. So what we're going to talk to you about today is what we're expecting to do as much as we possibly can, but it is all subject to change, as these past couple of months really have been. So we're going to share with you as much as we possibly can, and as Miss said, hopefully try and allay any fears that you may have, any worries or anything like that. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Again, you'll have to bear with me. Hopefully you can see that. So this is what we're going to be looking at in our webinar today. Bit of a welcome, something I called the COVID-19 effect, a bit of general information. We'll have a bit of a chat about the early years foundation stage curriculum and the early learning goals, a bit of a chat about assessments, tapestry, and the government reception baseline. We'll have a bit of a chat about what sort of things you can do with your child to help them prepare for school. That's really crucial, particularly given the last few months that we've just been going through, and also a bit of a chat about what things are going to be coming up next. And as I said earlier, if you do have any questions, please use the chat feature and pop them in there. As I said, Mrs. Vaughan's going to be looking at those and monitoring those to make sure. Sorry, Mrs. Vaughan, you're not quite on there. If anyone has anything, then we'll try and get to that. So, firstly, a big welcome. As Miss said, thank you so much for choosing us. We cannot wait to meet yourselves and your children. I had some great fun picking out some pictures here. You might be able to see them if you're on a bigger screen. The picture up here of the little girl who starts the day in school and the little girl that finishes the day in school is a particularly enjoyable photo. That I think sums up the early years and starting school through and through. Also on there's some pictures of feelings of children and also parents. We totally understand that the step into school is a big step. It's a particularly big step if school is this school is new to you. It's not quite so big if you've been in our nursery and you know us anyway. So however you're feeling, that is absolutely okay. This session is all about hopefully making sure you feel a little bit better about it, a little bit more positive about it, and also giving you ideas and things to do to support your children about coming back. Our aim is to make that transition as easy as possible. Obviously, we've not been able to do things quite as we'd have liked to have done. Normally we invite children into school before the holidays, do lots of activities in school and all those sorts of things. We've not been able to do that this year. So we have tried to plan things in to try and make that still as easy as possible. So the general information, the COVID-19 effect. As Miss alluded to a bit earlier, that has had dramatic effect on what school looks like and potentially has some effect on what that will look like going forward. As I said, we've got plans in place for different scenarios, but we've just got to wait to see what we're informed on in terms of the direction we go. When we do know that direction, then, as Miss said, hopefully you'll get to meet class teachers. You'll have more firm idea of times and things like that. The things that I can tell you that we are still going to be, as much as possible, doing a huge amount of stuff around hygiene and making sure people are keeping their hands as clean as possible. That's central to everything. As much as possible, we're still going to be doing a form of distancing, social distancing. What that looks like yet, we'll just have to wait and see. The school day might look slightly different in regards to the times. Again, we're still waiting for some more firm ideas from the powers that be on how that exactly is going to look. So there are lots of things there that we still are not 100% on, but we have thought through, we have got plans in place, and we will share those when we know exactly what that's going to look like for you and your child. Miss is going to talk about the other bits and bobs on here.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about uniform and things like that first of all. Behind me, there is the display up on the back. It's a bit far behind, but you can't see it too well. But it is our uniform. blue jumper or blue cardigan, blue t-shirt, and grey trousers or skirt, okay, or dresses if the girls if they want one. We do also require PE kit, which is black shorts, white t-shirt, and black pumps. Easily available anywhere you like. I know Tesco normally have cracking offers on things like that.
You have already got those guys because they've got their free uniform. Look at that, a free school uniform.
Free? Flipping it, that's amazing.
So yes. those bits are sorted for you.
So obviously, if you do require any extra uniform and things like that, there will be time to come into school to order anything else. For lunch and things like that, we do obviously have school dinners. We do encourage all children to try anything that we provide for them in school, because it's obviously we do get children that sort of say, oh, I don't like that, but actually over a couple of tries they do kind of go, oh, I like that now, that's quite nice. We try to discourage bringing in lunches from home, because we do actually want them to try as many different varieties of food as they can in school as well. Obviously, allergies, dietary requirements, anything like that, just let us know and pop it on your form and we can meet those in school. That's absolutely fine, no problems at all. Lunches are free, so obviously all children in school in reception do get a free lunch as well. Children are given a snack every day in school, and this is linked to healthy eating. So we have a fruit provider. So we have fruit given every day with a carton of milk as well. Water is readily available at all times in the day. So we do ask children to bring a water bottle in as well, which is clearly named. And this is something that we will come up with.
Name it!
Name everything. And I mean everything. And a popular place to put it is actually under the rib of the jumper at the bottom with pen. There you go. Please put it on, because it tends to be when it's written on the label at the back, it gets washed off. But we've had parents that have said on the rib at the bottom, it stays, and it's really good. Even if you think you don't need to name it, name it. In the trainers, both pairs, please. It's quite. We've had it before where one pump is labelled and not the other one. It's quite hard to find the second part of the pair. But please, yes, if that's okay. Anything else?
Daily routine.
Daily routine. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's written on the sheet in front of me, isn't it? They will come into the school day. Currently, we start around 8:30, but this could change due to the COVID-19 effects. They normally come in and we provide breakfast for them, which could be an array of different items. The day consists of a lot of learning time with activities, play-based activities, with us then providing time for them to do focused activities where they work with one of us in school on something particular. They'll have time outside for playtime, they'll have time outside for lunchtime. They also have access to our outdoor area throughout the whole day. And currently the day finishes at 3:15. And I will say currently, so this may change.
Yeah, that is a normal day. And a note on how it may look in September is it's quite likely to be some form of staggered start. So just giving you a heads up there that they might not be in full time from the very start, due to the nature of what they've just been through and due to us trying to transition children in as best we can. You know, our main aim for that period is getting children and parents settled into school life as quickly as possible. So staggering that start to allow us to do that will mean that we can support those children the best that we possibly can. More information will come on that, like I've been saying about lots of stuff, when we have a more firm idea from the government and the local authority about what they're exactly going to be asking us to do. So
it's very much a wait and see, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's the same for all of us. Okay.
Right, moving on.
Next slide. Oh,
this is a good one.
I love this teacher. Mimi Denham, love this picture. This is what your child could come home looking like. And please, as a parent, you go, oh my word, what's going on? That's horrible. It's not. Believe me, this is absolutely brilliant. It means they've been learning. It means they've been developing their skills. They come home with writing, with pen marks on them. They've been mark making. They've been having a go at writing letters. They've been outside digging in the mud. They've been finding out all about these type of things. And it's just a good example of learning in the early years.
We do endeavour,
yes,
and you might not believe us all the time, we do endeavour a lot to keep children as clean as possible, because we understand how hard it is to wash and clean clothes. We just wanted to put this on there because it's a really good picture of illustrating that, yeah, they might have some glitter on them or some mud on them, but how's that mud got there? And whatever they've been doing to do that, quite often is some really good learning, particularly in the early years. And it's a lovely illustration of all the different things based on a few marks on a t-shirt, all the things that they've actually been doing. I will reiterate, we really do try our absolute best to keep children as clean and tidy as possible. We have overalls and smock tops, aprons, all sorts of things that we put in place. But children being children, could make a mess in an empty room. So we do try our best for that. If you can't see it because you're on the phone, please don't worry about it. As I said, this will all be emailed out. Okay, so the early years foundation stage and the early learning goals. What are we all about in terms of our curriculum? So I think the big thing that sort of overarches, well, two big things that overarch everything here are that we understand that all children are unique. No two children are the same, and children learn at their own speed. So whilst they'll be following a national curriculum, which is called the early years foundation stage curriculum, they progress within that at their own rates, and we're very well adapted at being able to tailor and target different children's abilities and make sure we're providing them their next steps for them. So that's our overall aim, is for all children to sort of make the best possible progress that they can do, but they do that at their own speed. The other thing that I really want to reiterate is that we really do endeavour for our curriculum to be as fun and engaging and as active as we possibly can. We get dressed up, we have theme days, we have big topics, we use stories and narrative, something called narrative immersion, to engage. The children love it as well, to engage with their learning. If you want to see a bit more about that on the school website, there's a little video of me talking about some of it, and you can see a bit of it in action. So head over to the school website to have a look at that. The earliest foundation stage is from birth to 5. So if they've been in a preschool setting, they've already been doing that and working through it. Reception year is obviously the last year of that, and at the end of the reception year they'll be doing the early learning goals, which I'll talk to you about in just a little second. The main focus, or a major focus of the early years, is a play-based curriculum. So children should and will be spending a lot of time engaged in high quality play. We sit that alongside children doing focused activities, because there are certain things that we need to target in small groups. So we'll quite often do class-based things and introduce a topic or an idea, or introduce some skills to do with reading or writing, and then we'll go off, and some children will go into what we call learning time, which is where they'll be play-based. So our classrooms are set up to target, again, certain areas of their development, and then they'll also come to do some focused activities that will again target some other areas of development. So it's, play is really at the heart of what we do, and we also do these focused activities to support their development as well. The curriculum is set up so that there's 3 what we call prime areas, which is personal, social and emotional development, communication and language, and physical development. These are fundamental skills that not only you need for future learning, but you need a lot of these for life as well. So personal, social and emotional development is all about interactions with other people, their relationships with people, their behaviour, that sort of thing. Communication and language, obviously that's key to life, is being able to communicate as effectively as they possibly can be. And then physical development's obviously all about how they move, both in big movements, but also in fine gross motor movements, or small movements, which they need for things like writing and controlling scissors, stuff like that. So at the start of the year, we heavily focus on that. And then throughout the rest of the year, we then tend to spend more time on specific areas, particularly mathematics and literacy, because we spend that time at the start to embed the basics and the fundamentals, which a lot of children will already have. And as the year goes on, the shift, and also the shift in play as well, moves slightly away from a total play environment to more activities that the children have to do. That's also to get them prepared for year 1 as well. The specific areas are literacy, mathematics, understanding the world, and exploring media materials. And understanding the world is basically sciences and your ICT, and exploring media materials, that's more of your art and creative areas. So all of those are covered all the time, but particularly when they first come in, we really look at those fundamentals of personal, social, and emotional development, communication and language, and physical development, because they are really key. If you're not really succeeding in those areas, it's going to be much more difficult to succeed in the likes of literacy and mathematics and the other specific areas. The other thing that we will be doing a lot of is phonics. You might know lots about phonics, you might know nothing about phonics. We will be doing a phonics specific meeting in the first term back, and we are going through a very exciting time at the moment, because we're just changing. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Really strange.
Mine went up as well.
Oh, hang on, cancel that. Put that down. Sorry about that.
Technology, everybody.
I know. I thought it was getting on too well, that. Oh, I don't want that either. Right. Yeah, phonics. We are, as I said, going through a bit of an exciting time because we are changing how we are delivering phonics over the next year as well. As I say, there'll be much more information on that because it's quite a specific thing to be doing with the children. We'll have loads more ideas for you as well on how you can support that at home. Effectively, for those that don't know, phonics is how we teach the very basics of reading and writing, and it's a system that's in place across the whole country for helping children with that. But as I say, there'll be lots more information to come next year. Sorry, it just got some ICT problems. Is that gone again? No. Right, we'll move on.
Apologies for this.
Just having a couple of ICT glitches. Okay, let's do that. I think we're...
Yes, back to it.
Hopefully everyone can see the screen again, rather than me.
If you can, please give a thumbs up so we know it's actually working okay. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
right.
Mum.
Yeah, you get to enjoy my ICT wizardry again. Did you see those things moving on the screen there? The arrow. Absolute wizardry, that. That took me 2 years to learn, year 10 and year 11 to do those two things. Right, we'll get back to where we were.
Next one.
Okay, so the other big area of the curriculum is what we call the characteristics of effective learning. Again, these are fundamental things that children need to be lifelong learners and succeed as best they can in life. And they are learning traits that we want the children to have. It might be resilience, it might be independence, it might be creative thinking. It's all those sorts of things. So it's not a specific academic area, but it's skills that we'd love the children to have, and the curriculum asks us as well to do it, for them to succeed in whatever they do. Lots of research suggests if they're really strong in the characteristics of effective learning, no matter how well they do against literacy and maths at this stage, they will more likely to go on to succeed better further on in their school lives. So it's a really massive thing. We do it. We are starting to do it across the whole school as well now, and we've developed some dinosaurs to make it fun and engaging. But these three areas that the characteristics sit under are playing and exploring, active learning, and creating and thinking critically. That creating and thinking critically one's all about higher level thinking and really getting the children to think about their learning and think about what they're learning and how they're learning and the skills that go on around that.
Kind of like a process of when they're making things.
Yeah, so we do things like we put work up on a wall and children will talk about what they did with that work, and we'll show the work off, but not only show sort of the end result, but talk about how they got to the end result as well. In the second half of the summer term, the children will be assessed against the early learning goals. These are statutory, we have to assess against them, and you will get a report back from that. We will be sending out some more information on the early learning goals in the first term back, and you'll get a bit of a breakdown of what they are. So the early learning goals are effectively the end result of the early years foundation stage. So at the end of the early years foundation stage, we assess against these early learning goals, and what you'll get is, has your child achieved the early learning goal? Has your child exceeded it? So has it gone a bit further, or is it still emerging? Is there still things with that early learning goal they haven't quite got yet? And that'll give them an idea of where they sit, and also it gives the year one teachers an idea of what they need to be doing next to the children as well. But as I say, there'll be more information coming on that. Okay, assessment tapestry and the government reception baseline.
This is me. Okay, so one of our main things that we use actually in school is a online learning journey called Tapestry. Now, if you're part of our nursery, you will know about this, and it will be part of your pack when it comes out, when you're allowed to pick it up. There is a form in there for you to fill in with email addresses, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's where we put a lot of our evidence and things for the children. We take photos all the time in school. If we suddenly see something that they're doing and go, "Ow, that's amazing," we will pop it up on Tapestry, and you are able to log on and see it. But what's even better about it, and what's even great, if you do something at home, you can add your own photos as well. Obviously, things like that have been absolutely fantastic at the moment with our current children, with the motion of being at home. A lot of our parents are putting up the work they do at home and adding that onto the Tapestry, and we can see it as well. And it's really lovely having that connection between home and school and making those links between things. So it's actually really, really good.
It's really important as well. We really try and encourage that as much as possible, that we engage with parents as much as we possibly can. Obviously, you're the main caregivers to children, and you know the children best. And the more that we can share information, the stronger we can be at delivering what the children need and helping them progress.
Okay.
So-
Sorry,
go on.
okay. So with the tapestry, that's really, really important that you get the forms filled in and given back to us so we can get you set up before the children come to school.
Obviously, lots of you will already be on tapestry because you've come from our nursery. The main purpose of tapestry really is an assessment tool, so that all the observations that we have and all the information that we have about the children are kept in that one place, so we can see that your child is here and what's fundamental about it. This is what we need to do next. That's why we have tapestry, and it's just got that great feature of being able to let parents be included in that, and also we encourage parents to upload and stuff. Upload things that they've been doing at home, particularly wow moments.
Wow moments are fantastic. We love the wow moments. Put as many as you want on. We absolutely love seeing things like that.
So a wow moment is a moment where you think, crikey, I didn't know my child could do this. They've just done the whole of Romeo and Juliet from their brain. I didn't know they knew Romeo and Juliet. It can be anything. It could be that they've done some mathematics and you think, wow, they're doing some adding there. I'm going to take a picture of that and I'm going to show it to my teachers. What that means is that we can see at home that this child has got addition, and we can say, right, they've done addition. What do we need to do next with them? The more we can information we can put into the system, the better we can plan for children's next step and help them progress.
And it doesn't have to be academic based as well. Thinking about it, it could be simple as riding a bike outside in the park, or looking at the differences between the leaves in autumn and things like that. All those type of things are things that we need to know, and it's really lovely to see.
We also use it as well. If you do that sort of stuff, it's getting them to stand up in front of the class and show them what they've been doing at home. They absolutely love to stand there and show that they found a frog with 5 eyes in the back pool that they're now keeping under their bed in their bedroom. They love it. They've got a picture they can share, and we share it with the rest of the class.
Okay. Something else that we will do when the children first start in school is we do something called a baseline assessment. Now, within school, we have our own form of assessment where we will look and see where the children sit, the kind of things they can do, what kind of level they're at, and that helps with their next steps. But there is actually another form, and there's a government baseline assessment that we have to do as well. Sorry, I went off the wrong bit, didn't I? I skipped a slide then. I do apologise. Okay, and the government baseline assessment was originally brought in last year as a pilot scheme. So this September, it is across the board in every single school. So your children are not alone in this, and all have to do it. Please do not worry about it. Please do not think you have to prepare your children for it. Please do not think you have to do anything special for this at all. It is just a small activity that they will do one-to-one with somebody in school, and a series of questions based on literacy, communication and language, and mathematics skills. Okay, and it just has to, something that we have to do within the first 6 weeks of school. The only issue with it is we don't get any feedback from it. You don't get any feedback from it. It is all down to when they leave school in year 6, and it's to do with data, and it's how far they've gone between the two.
It's a reflection of the school, not a reflection of the child. It's to see how the schools perform, not how any children have performed. That's all the government wants it for. I mean, I'm quite sceptical of it, if I'm totally honest with you. But it's something we have to do. So hooray! Love the government.
It's just something we have to do, but your children will probably come home not knowing a thing. They will just probably say, oh, I had a little chat with Mrs. Vaughan and Mr. Denham today, or someone else in school.
It's games and activity based.
There's no written, there's no form. We're not going to stick a pencil in the hand and make them have a go at writing their name.
Please don't think you need to go out and get them a tutor before they start school and start tutoring them on how to pass the baseline assessment. There's no need.
No, please don't. It is just very simple. It's just something that they will do with us.
Right,
okay?
Moving on.
Yep. I've got no questions yet.
I've won.
I've
seen it. We'll come to that in just a second. So what can you be doing at home to help your child prepare for school? Well, obviously this time more than ever is going to be a key transition. Hopefully staggering that start time for children will help with that, but there are also things you can do at home as well. Now, as Miss alluded to a bit earlier on, there are packs for those children that have been in our school or in our nursery already that are being sent home. Hopefully you're really enjoying those. It's giving children an opportunity to think about different things about coming back. Those parents that are new to school and children new to school, you'll pick those packs up when you come to pick some other bits up. I'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. There are some things that are going to be in a pack that you're going to pick up as well that you can be doing. There is, as you can see on the screen here, a school readiness tick list. These are some things that we think are really key for your child to be able to do to help them settle into school as quickly as possible. If they can't do any of these things, it's absolutely fine. It's something you can work with them on. It's not a barrier in any way. It's just some suggestions and things that they can be working on to help them settle into school. There's the local authority school readiness document as well, which is, you know, it's not the most thrilling read in the world, but it's a good source of information on helping children starting school. you know, we've got some children that are coming from our nursery. For them, it is going to be a little bit easier because they know us. They're coming through a door into another space potentially, you know, and they're a lot more aware of the environment. Those that are new to school, you can start to have a look at the document here, which shows a picture of all the different staff we've got, and you'll also get a little book as well, a little booklet about a story about the day in the life of a child in Rivacre Valley. That's a lovely story.
Really
It's a story
nice.
that's been purposely written and illustrated for our school, and it's a lovely thing to share with your child. And you know, doing it more than once and talking about going to school and having that opportunity to share together how they're feeling and how you're feeling is absolutely great. Just a note on how you're feeling. As I said earlier, it's absolutely fine to feel a little bit anxious, a bit worried. That's okay and perfectly normal. Our advice is to talk about that with your child, but not to overdo it, because how you're feeling can reflect on your child and they pick up on how you're feeling. The best thing that you can do is acknowledge that you felt this way, because it's totally normal to feel a bit anxious. It's totally normal to feel a bit worried, but not to let them see that, you know, you're really worried or you're really anxious and you're stressing about things that are going on, because they will feed off that and that will make it a little bit harder for them to come in school. So whilst it's normal to feel the way, you know, that you might do, as much as possible, it's about talking with your child about that feeling and then trying to sort of move forward with it. Sorry, I just got someone I've got to enter. Down here is a picture of the pack and the bits that are going to be coming. So if you are one of our nursery children, you've got a bit of a heads up there. You can see some of the things that will be coming through the post to you. If you are one of our new to school children, you'll be picking this up when you pick some other bits up as well. Yeah. Right, next one. Okay, it's not moving. Oh, there we go. So what next? Well, there are some bits that are going to be coming up for you to engage with to help with that transition. Mrs. Russell has been contacting people regarding their web chats with us. If you are new to school, we really advise you to take us up on this offer and try as much as possible to engage with that, because we, you know, obviously we've not seen you before, or maybe only met you once ages ago, and we've not had a chance to say hello to your child either. So if you're new to school, as much as possible, I really would suggest you taking us up on the offer of having a little web chat with us. It's nothing to worry about, stress about. If you don't really want to be the video aspect of it, you can take the video off and we'll just have a chat at least. It's just an opportunity for us to build that relationship. We have some questions that we like to ask to find out a little bit information about the children so that we can help them get settled as quickly as possible. If you are one of our children from our nursery, you have that option. You know, if you feel like you need like a chat with one of the members of staff, then please give us a ring. And we're not going to contact you about it. If you give us a contact, either send us an email, give the office a ring, and we'll absolutely happily have that meeting. And we just felt that you know, your children know us a lot more, and we've got a relationship with you, and so is the teachers. Miss Woods had a bit of a relationship with you, as we're the new to school children. It's a totally new relationship. On the week beginning of 13th of July, so that's actually the last week of term, you will need to pop into school to pick up your free school uniform. So hopefully you've all had your list and sent all your forms back in. If you haven't, you need to do that ASAP.
Please.
And all that uniform has been named for you. We've done that for you to make sure we're not having about 1,000 jumpers with no names in. I do love the jumper situation.
Oh.
We get we get a pile of jumpers, of brand new jumpers that don't have a name on. It's really difficult to give them back to the home that they belong. You'll also be picking up your packs, so that's this here, with some more information in and some of the bits and bobs you can do with your child over the holidays. And if you're new to school, you'll also pick up your transition activities. You will also probably need to order some more school uniform, because although you get a free full school uniform, you might want a couple more jumpers and some more tops or whatever. So that'll be another good opportunity for you to do that. We are also hoping to do some class meetings, online meetings, in the last 2 weeks. So from the week beginning the 6th of July. But again, we're still waiting on guidance from the government and the local authority again to see exactly how we're going to be rolling with things. Because obviously, depending on what happens, plans, we go to different plans. And we will be putting together, when we know exactly which classrooms children will be having, we'll be doing some virtual tours of those classrooms as well. So there's lots to look out for there. Right, and that's that bit. Right, I will just ask Mrs. Vaughan and we'll just have a little check of some questions. So 1 second. I'm going to stop that there. Go to that.
As far as I know, there was nothing. There's just one person that's leave, unfortunately.
So, in terms of school uniform, yeah, as I just mentioned, you can come and pick up uniform from the 13th, was it?
13th of July.
13th of July, please pop in. If you do have any other questions, going forward, you can either do that in the web chats if you're having them, or you can email them into Mrs. Cole. We really do understand that it's a bit of a, dare I say, traumatic time at the moment with everything that's going on, and then we're trying to get kids back in school in September as well. So, if you are worried about anything, please do talk to us. Here we're really good at having our doors open, and we want to build that relationship as well as we possibly can, so that if you do have problems in the future, that you do come and speak to us. I will share screen again, and I think we are there. Oh, hang on, I've got another. Sorry, you've got someone else that's got a question, is it?
Oh, question. Oh, yeah.
So in terms of finding out when the children, sorry, we've just had a question through. As of yet, we're going to have to put a pause on when we let you know which teacher you have. We are still waiting on, as I say, confirmations from the government, from the local authority on how things are going to be looking. We have plans in place for different scenarios, like I've been saying, but until we know which plan that we've got to go to, that will then tell us which teacher, which child will have. As soon as we know which teacher you have, we'll make sure we pass that on, because that's, everyone wants to know what teacher they got. That's a massive thing. So as soon as we can definitely say that's the teacher you've got, then we'll do that. So we've got a couple more questions coming through. Yeah, so free school meals is for all reception. It's been a bit confusing this recently. There are infant free school meals. So in England, all children in year reception, year 1, year 2 receive free school meals. There's also the free school meals, which are based on some eligibility criteria based around household income. And I know recently, and in the press as well, there's been a little bit of confusion about, what you're entitled to. Children that have got free school meals because of their economic backgrounds, their family's economic backgrounds, they have got the vouchers and the food parcels. Children on the infant school meals haven't had those because it's a slightly different system. Yeah. So yes, all children in reception year 1, year 2 will get school meals, and we would actively encourage them to have that, unless they have like a medical need or really struggle. We're not Victorian in the style with food. We want children to have something to eat, and we also want them to try some bits and bobs as well. Having a fish finger for lunch isn't great. Having a fish finger and a few peas, well, that's a step in the right direction. Having a fish finger, a few peas, and then a carrot, well, we'll keep moving in the right direction. That's how we try and do things. We encourage them.
3 peas one day, 4 peas the next day.
We try and encourage people to make progress. We don't say you've got to eat it all the time.
Oh, no, we would never, ever do that at all. Please don't ever think we would do that.
Just had a note through here. The teacher that your child get will be an early years teacher. So it'll be one of the teachers, either Mr. Davis or me or Mrs. Vaughan. It will be an early years teacher that's, knows what they're doing, and hopefully we'll build that good relationship with yourselves and everybody else. So we've got one about social distancing. How will that be implemented in reception? Well, this is one of the major questions. In school, we have some major social distancing things in place, processes in place, because we have a 2-meter social distancing requirement. That's one of the things we're waiting on, that we're unsure of, is what we're going to be asked in regards to social distancing. The way we are going to be designing things, even if they say that all children could be in and they're going to remove social distancing altogether, which they might do in schools, that's what they might be suggesting, we will still have things in place like the hand washing, like encouraging as much as possible children to be staying at least, if it is a meter away from each other, by making sure that class groups are not mixing with other class groups. So even if the government do say that all children will be back, and they are saying that we don't have to adhere to social distancing, which that has been sort of muttered around sort of school environments, we will have things in place where actually we think, normally we'd have like phonics groups going out, and one phonics group will go over here and another, and that would be mixed classes. to begin with, that won't be happening. It will be you're in your class, and effectively that class will be your bubble.
I think Steph's got a little thing to say there, actually. She said she was
Yeah, and I'll just let Mrs. Doherty come back in on that.
Yeah.
Let me just find that.
There she is.
There you go. Sorry, Miss, go on.
She's muted.
Is she muted? No, she's not.
Oh, no, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Can you all hear me? Hi, I just wanted to reiterate that, you know, obviously social distancing has become a very strange part of our normal, hasn't it? And within school, we will mirror what is expected outside of the school environment. We've been told quite clearly that younger children, and the younger the children, the better really in terms of their resilience towards actually not picking up the virus. And we've also been told quite clearly that children who are young aren't spreading it as much, so that the requirements on school settings to actually social distance and keep that 2 metre, 1 metre, whatever it actually says, isn't as important. And they do recognise that little children don't naturally work like that. They want to get close to people. They don't understand some of our social norms really in terms of what is appropriate. So we will do what we have to do in terms of what is required by law, and we will make the school a safe place, as it has been all throughout this pandemic. It has remained open for groups of children, and we've welcomed back more children this week. So we're getting a good practice run at this when we start to widen that offer in September. But we have got a plan in place for a 1 metre social distance. We've also got a plan in place if they remove the social distancing requirement within school. So we've built these documents, we've built risk assessments around them. So it's been thought through in a very robust manner. I think that's
Brilliant.
it.
Thank you. And I think that is us done. As I say, if you do have any questions or any concerns, please, do get in contact with the office and they'll pass it on to us. I really would reinforce the point about if you are new to school, really try to see if you can engage with that web chat with your teacher, because that's a really lovely way to build that relationship, and for us to get that information about what your child's like, what they don't like, and all that sort of thing. As I say, the children from our nursery, we tend to know that anyway, and we get that information passed up, so it's not quite so much of a necessity. And I think that's really it, isn't it? Thank you so much for coming in and listening to us waffle on for 45 minutes. Fiddle with technology. I hope you've enjoyed my GCSE ICT skills. I really feel now that I should go from a B to an A. I might write to the exam board and tell them what I've been doing.
Harry's mum gave you a thumbs up there.
Thanks very much for that. And we really do look forward to welcoming you all back into school in September in whatever form it might be, hopefully as normal as possible. Thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully see you at some time in the not too distant future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.